Hey everyone, this is DC Howard, founder and principal coach of Wayineers, where it's our goal that you reach your destination of success by letting us help you calculate your route. And we're back yet again for another Tactic Thursday. Tactic Thursdays, for those that are just joining us, is where we spend some time discussing a matter you may be going through, whether it be personally, professionally, or relationally, and how to overcome that matter. And so today we're going to start actually another mini series called The Freedom of No. The Freedom of No. And so each of these next 3 weeks, I'm going to discuss the freedom of no from the particular aspects that we generally discuss, whether it be from a personal standpoint, a professional standpoint, or relational standpoint. And so for me, today I'm going to discuss the freedom of no from a relational standpoint. I'm going to start from a relational standpoint. And so the thing that I would actually think about, in which I always give usually a scientific or an anecdotal situation, is I think about growing up and how my mom always made sure I had a new pair of shoes for the new school year. For many of you that are here in the United States or even across the world, we're now in about mid-August, so this is where we find that usually school is either already started or about to start. But the one thing I noticed that my mom always made sure of is that my shoes never exactly fit me just right. They would never fit me too tight, but rather there would always be a certain size gap that was in my shoes. And my mom and I would ask my Mom, why is it that you buy my shoes too big for me? And she says, son, I want to make sure that you always have a gap in them so you have the opportunity to grow into them. And that is a lesson that I've kept even to this day, in which I'll discuss when it comes to being able to handle a no from a relational standpoint, of how the no actually is a gap that allows us to be able to grow. And so, as I often do with acronyms, the first letter, being G, is that a no allows you to grow. And so when you're dealing with a relationship, whether it be yourself and a significant other, whether it be yourself and an individual older than you, like a parent or a relative of that matter, if you're dealing with if you are the parent, if you will, the more mature individual in the relationship, and you're dealing with someone that's younger, or for lack of a better term, that's junior to you, is that you want to allow yourself to find growth. You want to allow yourself to find growth in that no. And so what does that mean? It means that maybe you all both said no in the fact that you're putting a pause on your relationship. Maybe it's the fact that you're saying no in the fact that you're not able to access this in this relationship. So meaning, for instance, if you are a parent and you're dealing with a child and the child is wanting a raise in their allowance, or the child is wanting to be able to get a certain amount of money, that you're saying no to that matter. If you are rather the child, or if you are the younger individual in this scenario, and you're dealing with someone older, like a parent or a relative, that you're saying no to the level of access they can have in your life. Well, that no, once again, is good because it allows for growth. Growth is needed in every aspect of our lives. It literally is how we are able to breathe, how we're able to move, how we're able to live, because we're constantly growing. If we didn't grow in our knowledge of transportation, it's very likely that we would still be like our cave predecessors, where there were only wheels and literally walking by foot. Whereas now we're not only able to travel by car, we're able to travel by train, we're able to travel by plane, we're able to travel by boat, submarine, various forms of travel. If you even want to go next level, we're able to travel by rocket, in the fact that we're able to go even into outer space. And so it took being able to have certain no's in those scenarios to allow us to be able to have growth. So first and foremost, when it comes to the freedom that you get with a no, in especially the relational matter, it's all about growth. The next thing when it comes to that A is that not only do you allow for yourself to be able to have growth, but it also allows for you to have the ability to have analysis. And so you're able to have analysis in a no. So for instance, let's take the scenario of you are a child, or you are a younger individual, and you're navigating with an older individual, whether it be a parent or whomever, from a relationship standpoint, and the no came down to money. The no came down to money. All right? So we can actually look at this from both sides. And so from if you are the child or if you are the younger scenario, the analysis comes into, okay, was my approach the right approach I needed to take when it comes to asking for this money? Am I really in need of this money, or am I in want of this money, or am I just simply desiring this amount of money? Am I really being able to communicate clearly and effectively what this money is going to go towards? And so by hearing this no, while it may temporarily be a frustration, it allows for you to rather to have analysis on what exactly was the rationale behind the no. And that's so very, very key. From the flip side, you being the adult or you being the older individual dealing with the younger individual, when it comes to that same example of money, now you're able to reflect on the no. Is my no based off of actual principle, or is it based off of preference? Meaning that, okay, am I basing this no off of principle and the fact that I'm literally not able to give this money right now, because if I give this money right now, it's then not going to allow to have access for something that we really need, such as rent money, mortgage money, being able to go on this particular trip as a family, being able to go and do these particular endeavors, things of that sort. Or is it strictly off of preference and the fact that I don't feel right now is the right time to give the younger individual or the other individual in this scenario money? Also, it allows you to have analysis on, okay, based on previous times that I've given this individual money, or based on previous scenarios where money's been involved, how has the relationship dynamic changed? So for instance, it may have been that you gave this individual $50, $500, $5,000, and now you can't even get a phone call from this individual anymore. Or now they're not willing to be accountable or willing to be accessible based upon what has already been given, because they feel as if it's mine, and they go on with their lives as if you don't even matter. And so once again, the no allows for a certain level of analysis, which is always a good thing. So first off, the freedom of a no allows us to be able to utilize and see growth. A freedom of a no also allows us to be able to have some sort of analysis. And then now the last point that I want to make about how a no gives us freedom is that it allows us to be able to have progress. Yes, that sounds so oxymoronic, that a no can actually give you progress. Yes, it can. A no can the freedom of a no being given can actually allow for progress to be made in a relationship. So what does that mean? Simply put, is that usually when a no happens, it's going to open up some level of communication, it's going to open up some level of collaboration, or it's going to open up some level of creativity that may not have existed formally in the relationship, or has existed before, but now is being brought back to the forefront to be able to reignite that relationship. So for instance, if there was a situation, let's say you're dealing with your significant other and there was a no regarding money, now it's going to be a form of communication where there will be now, based on that no, a subsequent conversation that can open up things that were really the root issue of why the no was being given. And the fact that maybe the no is being given because it's not about that I don't have the money, but it's about when I've given you the money before, these are the things that I've seen from a communication standpoint. It may be that the progress actually happens that not only in that same scenario with the significant other, but money. So this is the relationship dynamic we're doing now, is that you may have a form of communication, or it may be, well, actually I said no to the $500, but I am saying yes to giving you $100, and that we work together on being able to find the other $400. And so that's a form of collaboration. And then the third point of that is that the progress can be seen as creativity. And so it may not be that you got the $500 initially, but now you're finding creative ways to encourage, entice, and be able to just win over your significant other when it comes to being able to get that $500, which in fact actually brings another set of positivity and great progress once again in your relationship. And so by having the freedom of a no, it can actually bring about progress in a relational manner. So once again, to kind of summarize things all up, is that when you get a no, Yes, it may not feel okay at the time, and that's perfectly okay. But you have to understand that a no actually can give you freedom when it comes to the relational standpoint. It can give you freedom in the fact that you're able to grow. It will give you freedom in the fact that you're able to now have some time to analyze and have a full analysis. And then it also, a no gives you freedom to actually have progress, whether it be in communication, collaboration, or creativity. And whereas that gap, that GAP, just like how I said with my mom at the initial start of this video, is the fact that I got my shoes, but it allowed me to actually grow into them as the year progressed. And in the same breath, in the same fashion, that no can actually allow you to be able to make your relationship that much stronger. Well, thank you so very much for taking time out for being with us here on our Tactic Thursday as we're talking about the freedom of a no. Please feel free to join us next week as we're going to go into the professional components of the freedom of a no, and then the next week where we'll go into the personal freedoms, the personal freedom that you get with a no. Always, 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 please book a session. Go to www.wayineers, that's WAYIN, 2 E's, rs.com to book a session. I promise you it will be a wonderful life changer for you, where we're able to coach you in life coaching, career coaching, relationship coaching, and it's simply a conversation to help you find your goals and allow you to be able to know that right route in order to get to those goals. Also, feel free to, as you're already doing right now, continue to follow us and continue to like us, comment, give us your feedback about these videos on Facebook and on Instagram at Wayineers. And once again, we hope you have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your weekend. And remember, we here at Wayineers want to make sure that you reach your destination of success by letting us help you calculate your route. Have a wonderful rest of your day.